talking about breaking into a police station.
This is crazy.
This is $100 million.
You say what?
My legs hurt.
Your legs hurt, so you're thinking by standing you're going to fix that problem?
Yeah.
I can see if your back hurt. But
Well, that hurts too. It feels better.
Jesus Christ, there's something wrong with you. There's so many things wrong with you.
I know. I have to go to a doctor.
You do need to go to a doctor, and then you need to go to a plastic surgeon to see if they can do something about your face. Ow! And get some hair dye and something to spray the bald spot on the top of your head. Anything, really. Hey everyone, welcome back to Half-Ass Movie Reviews. We are up to the 5th in the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast 5, but this is the 4th one that we are reviewing, so it's the 4th in the timeline. Mm-hmm. And this returns everybody from the previous movie, Fast and Furious, again directed by Justin Lin.
Yep.
Written by the same writer. I think it was Chris Morgan, if I read that correctly.
Yes.
And we get all the big stars back from the previous movies, a couple new ones, and we also bring back some just from Too Fast, Too Furious, which made me really happy.
This is like the Avengers of
yes.
Fast and Furious.
I agree with that. That's a good way to put it. We got to assemble the perfect team. And we are fighting crime this time. That's one thing. They're always taking the high road.
Yes. Arguably the best in the series. I know, I just watched this one. We just watched them back to back, really, this week.
We did.
And Fast 5, I'm standing on my couch saying, fucking, let's go. Like, I had a great fucking time. Fast 5, 5-star movie, easy.
I gave it
What did
4.
you give it?
I gave it 4.
I'm actually surprised with that because...
I think it is the best one in the franchise.
Is that the highest ranked Fast and Furious?
No,
for
the
you so
first
far?
one has a 4 also.
Okay.
So the highest I've ever gone, I can give them is a 4. But this one, I think, is an overall funner movie, more of a summer blockbuster. But the first one, I think, is a better story and plot. Like this one, like we'll get to it, but Vin Diesel's acting, and I mean, even Paul Walker, everyone's acting is not the greatest. Our main villain is playing it like a over-the-top supervillain. Like even some of those scenes, the way they set it up, kind of felt like a spoof almost of a real movie.
Right.
So,
But anyway, the movie opens up right where we left off in 4.
yes.
So we are on the prison transport bus. We see the cars, the Charger, that I believe it's a Honda NSX, but I always thought it was Acura. I'm not sure. And then the Bandit Trans Am. Mia distracts the side of the bus. Brian in Dom's Charger, or a Charger like Dom's, hits the brake. The bus rear ends it, rolls over. Everyone's okay. Leave everyone on the bus except Dom. He's the only one who escapes.
Yeah, we cut to a bunch of news cycles explaining everything that happened. One of the guys is actually the news anchor from Parks and Rec, so I noticed him in there.
Okay.
And yeah, they got everything. They were helped by former FBI agent Brian O'Connor, and
Yes.
I love it when they go
They're
through
all
this.
wanted,
Yeah,
yeah.
now they're all wanted and they're on the run, and then we cut right to Rio, right?
Yes, we see Brazil.
Brazil, yes.
So we see the Jesus statue, and that's an awesome anything shot there. I like
It's just so sunny.
the hills and that like shanty town on the.
Reminded me, actually, because the first chase scene reminded me of Point Break's chase scene.
Now, is it? I wasn't the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yes.
Didn't they just run through there? Cause
Yeah, they do a lot of them. Doesn't Bad Boys 2 go there too? Or something like that?
Maybe,
Remember the
yeah.
Hummer going down through like that, like you said, a shanty town?
it might be. It might be. Yeah.
Because it looks unique. It's built, like the whole town's built on the side of a
Built
hill.
on the hill, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a dump. But,
I mean, and not to mention, like, if someone's rolling a big rock off the other side of the hill, that's rolling down and taking the whole town out.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like they have electricity. I'm not sure if they have like running water. I'm not entirely sure.
Looks like they strung together some electricity.
Yeah, it looks.
It's a good place to hide because no one's going looking.
Not the best place to live. But, anyway, if you're from there, then I mean.
Oh yeah,
maybe,
we're sorry.
Well, tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah, maybe the movie is the ones that don't understand what it's like to live in Brazil.
Maybe it's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying Brazil altogether. I'm just saying that particular.
Oh, that town, yeah.
That side of the mountain town where the shacks. Maybe they're nice inside. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so
Mia and Brian meet up with Vince. Is this
not
what-
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because they separated, if you remember.
The trio escapes to Rio de Janeiro, Awaiting Dom's arrival, Mia and Brian join. Oh yeah, they join Vince. So yeah, the next scene cuts off to Brian and Mia in this really awesome old Skyline GTR, because that's pretty much all Brian drives is Nissans. We get to, I guess, Vince's house.
Yep, they find out this is where Vince has been, and
he's got some sort of following there because everyone's protecting his area. Yeah. So they go up there just as about to leave. Vince goes, "Wait, they're my friends," and they come in, and he sees Mia, and then he goes, "The Buster."
Mm-hmm. Vince over here looking a little bit middle-aged. Not gonna lie, he's put a little bit of weight on, even though he lives in an area that doesn't look like it has a lot of food.
Right.
But he's living well.
Yes. Well, he brings them in and he feeds them food.
Yes.
They're eating, and then Vince tells them about a little job about stealing 3 cars.
Yep.
You know, it's
simple, in and out.
Simple in and out. We can use the payday. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat because now my legs are starting to hurt from standing. Ugh.
7 minutes. That's all you made. 7 minutes.
I told you it takes a long. Doesn't take long for my legs to hurt.
Yep.
I have a problem.
Okay.
Flat feet is a real thing.
It is. It's a medical condition.
Anyway, I forget where we were. So we're at Vince's house. We're eating. We're learning about the job. We're gonna go steal these cars.
Yeah. So when they get on the train, they find the cars in the back. Basically, they pulled up, and Brian realizes that the cars are DEA agents' cars. If I'm correct.
Got tags on it that they were seized by.
And one of them is a Ford GT, a beautiful Ford GT. Mm-hmm. That one is really the one that they're interested in for one particular reason, and that reason is we're about to find out, is because of a Mr. Reyes, I believe is the villain's name.
Yeah.
In that car, he put everything, basically all his safe houses with money. As we find out, most criminals are not allowed to use real banks.
Right.
So he's got to keep all his money in cash and safe houses. But he keeps all that. Basically, it's a knock sheeter. You've heard this before. It's all on one memory card that is somewhere in this car. And the DEA agents are after this car as well. So it turns into this big thing. But luckily, who shows up last minute that we didn't see coming?
Dom. Yep. Well, not quite. So we're on the car. We're in the train car, right? So we're looking at the cars, and now this really cool rig they got, that like flatbed truck with really crazy off-road suspension pulls up next to it, and they're using torches to cut open the side of the train. Right?
Yep, I saw this in Red Dead Redemption 2. And
once the train is fully open, it rips off, and then who's standing there once the smoke clears is Dom. Comes on there, "Oh, we didn't know you're coming." They give him a hug, and now we start hooking up the car. Now it's really cool the way they do this. Again, not impossible, just very, very hard.
Yes, it was to take a lot of work. Although a train, you know the speed it's already going, and you know the path it's on, so it's not like there shouldn't be too much interference unless other human beings intervene.
That's why the truck with really, really good off-road suspension is next to the train. We get the cars ready, lined up. We connect the winch. We shoot them out the side onto the flatbed, and then the flatbed goes like this. The car backs off safely. Now, my problem here is there's not dirt. It's not road or anything. It's just sand and dirt.
Yeah,
and these are like exotic sports cars where there's not a lot of ground clearance. They're not four-wheel drive. They don't have off-road tires, so they'd have some problem driving in these conditions.
I wouldn't want to take a Ford GT out on that.
No. But they did it.
They did.
It's movie magic.
Yep. And the DEA is in hot pursuit of, I believe, Brian and Vin, right?
Yes. So the DEA that are on the train, they're trying to get in the door, and the team that they're working with to steal these cars specifically want the Ford GT, but Mia jumps in it. Dom notices that they're freaking out that she's getting that, so he realizes that there's something going on with that. So he says, "All right, Mia, change of plans." She gets launched off, comes out, turns around, and then the whole plan's a bust because they see that she kind of went the opposite way, the way she wasn't supposed to go, and now it's a fight.
And the DEA agents end up just following Brian and Dom
into the train car.
Well, yeah. Well, they take off in a different car in another direction, and the DEA finds up following them.
No, so the DEA agents come into the train car, and I forget the guy's name, kills the two of them, and now there's a manhunt on Brian and Dom because they get framed for killing the DEA agents.
Yes, but if you remember, they end up in the river, and they're taken to Reyes. Yep. So that's also this is
Yeah.
where,
So Brian, all right. So Brian and Dom get. There was 3 cars in the car. Brian and Dom get in the last car. Well, actually, Brian
It was a
jumps on the
Camaro,
flap.
wasn't it? Or-
No, Brian jumps on the flap. That's right. So Brian jumps on the flatbed. It was a Corvette.
Okay.
Brian jumps on the
You're right.
flatbed, and because the guy driving the flatbed truck was told to go follow Mia. So Brian jumps on that to go save Mia. Takes out the 2 guys in the truck, and then rams the truck into the train on accident. So now he's hanging off the side of the train. Dom gets rid of the rest of the guys in the train car as one of the bad guys kills the 2 DEA agents. And then Dom gets in the last car, which is the Corvette, jumps it out of the thing, drives next to the train. Brian jumps onto the back, but there's a bridge coming and a cliff. So we go off the cliff, and it's kind of, remember the movie Triple X?
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
Also stars Vin Diesel.
Yes. So he jumps off. Well, they both jump off the cliff on the car, and they jump out of the car. They land in the water, A-okay. And then as soon as they surface, those are Reyes men?
Yeah, and Vin's like, bad idea, Brian, or like a bad call.
Bad call or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Good audio design there, too. When the car was in the air and they were falling, they cut out all the audio until the car hits the water, which was pretty cool. And yeah, Reyes Men comes, and this is the scene I was talking about, like basic supervillain thing. They got them all chained up. It's like, this one lit room, one light hanging. He comes in there, tells them, like, you're fucking with my business here. And, I guess he's planning on killing them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they get out of this situation, and they head back.
I don't remember how.
I don't remember how either, but they got out of there very fast. It wasn't like it was not too much.
Oh, I remember. Okay, so Reyes comes in there and talks to them, and then he leaves, and then they leave only 1 guard. And then
Typical supervillain stuff.
Superhero Dom breaks
Oh, yes, you're
breaks
right.
the chain, kicks the 1 guy into Brian, who's still hanging there, and then he takes him out with his legs.
Yep, that's right.
And then they escape. And then it cuts to I guess another news thing where
Now that they're wanted.
Dom, Brian, and Mia are framed for killing the DEA agents.
Yep.
And then they bring in a team of diplomatic security service agents led by DSS agent Luke Hobbs.
Yep. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The people's champion.
Yep, looking extremely jacked in here with the
And
world's...
extremely wet.
Yes, he looks wet the whole time. His
Yes.
beard is literally glistening anytime you look at it. That small
He's just
goatee.
dripping.
Yeah. This,
Well, actually, the first scene he's in, he's just moist. And then later through the movie, he's just soaked.
yeah. And this man is a monster. And basically, they set up his character. At some points, you'll notice he's trying to put a southern accent on his voice because
Is he?
yeah, because the way that they describe him, Brian's like, yeah, he's the typical, bullets, Bible, gun kind of guy, like
Yeah.
this real, like, big American. He's going to get his guy no matter what. This guy doesn't lose. He's the leader of this big task force.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets there, he's got his own set of wheels that they're bringing off the plane. He's just
Yeah.
walking there. He's wearing the same outfit and every
The
fucking...
Under Armour,
yeah. he's just giving the people orders, like, I want this girl. And they're like, why? He's like, I have my nice
like her
lips.
smile.
Oh, I like her smile, yeah.
Yeah, so Luke Hobbs, assisted by local officer Elena Neves. Yeah, now, did you get, like, Resident Evil vibes from her?
I did, actually,
You
because
know
of
what
the
I'm talking
cop
about?
uniform the whole
cop
time.
uniform, and, like, she just reminded, like, she...
Yeah, it's
she
weird
should
that
be
they
in
let her on
Resident
the. It's weird they let her on the task force, and they still made her wear her, regular. Usually they let them wear like detectives' clothes then,
Right,
Which they
so
do
now-
later.
Yeah, so she was married to a police officer in the area who got killed, and after he died, she up and joined the force to
Fight crime.
fight crime. Yes.
Yep. The most logical, respected widows do. They end up fighting crime themselves.
Yeah, so they have the GT40 back at the safe house. They're disassembling it, looking for what's missing.
Yeah, that's
or
some-
what's extra. And they can't find anything with the car. They
Yep.
can't figure out why they wanted this car so badly.
And there's some tension between Brian and Vince because Brian thinks that Vince mishandled this plan and misled them the whole time.
Right.
And, Vin Diesel Dom intervenes and says, that's family too. You trust him, and he tells him to Brian
he says
to walk
he didn't
it off.
do it. He didn't do it. Yeah. So the next scene,
it's late at night.
Late at night, we see Vince come in, go up to the stereo on the car, and grab a chip off the back, and then Dom comes out of the shadows like Batman, and he goes, "I almost wish I hadn't seen that."
Almost.
That kind of puts Vince in a bad spot. He explains himself. He just genuinely did not know. He thought it was a simple cash grab. He didn't realize it was so involved and that there was danger, and it was just a simple mistake. And Vince really was not trying to hurt anybody.
No, he misunderstood himself.
Yes.
He made a mistake. And basically, but Dom's still mad, and he kicks him out.
He brought it up on the screen, and it was just all the delivery schedules of when the money is moving and all that stuff. So Hobbs and his team arrive at Dom's safe house, but find it under assault by Reyes' men searching for the chip.
I know, for some reason, they found the car after Hobbs and his team. They find the car now, and I think it was also stripped and everything because Reyes' guys found the car too.
Yeah.
So because they left the safe house and everything like that with the chip, and Vin Diesel's, he has the plan, you know what, we'll sell it back to him. I believe for $100 million, right? So instead, Brian comes up with the plan, like, to rob all his safe houses or all the schedules.
Well, not quite. We're not there yet.
Okay. Yes, this is when Hobbs is in pursuit of them, and this is what I was saying, that this scene reminds me of Point Break, like, because it's mostly, like, they're running down the hill, and, like, through the entire, like, city there, and, like, they were kind of just running. That's really the big thing. Like, there's not really much vehicles in this scene.
Right, yeah, so The Rock shows up to the safe house, chases him out of there, and now he's chasing him through that shanty town in Rio. Then we get to...
And then the next scene is them, Hobbs' team, putting the car back together, trying to find out what is so important about this car. No?
Dom suggests that they split up and leave Rio, but Mia announces...
Yeah, this is a big one.
But, yeah, so they're coming out of a sewer pipe. They finally they lost their tail, and Dom's like, all right, we need to split up. We got to get the heat off us. Brian agrees, and then Mia's like, you know, I've been hiding this secret. I'm pregnant. She drops the bomb on both of them. That's like a turning point. That's the birth of family.
Yeah. So that's it. She even actually uses the line, I've lost my family before. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
So they agree, like, they're going to stick together.
Right. And then they have a little moment. They hug. And then...
this is when we see Hobbs' team trying to put the car back together.
They stick together. No, and then suggesting they steal Reyes' money to start a new life. Mm-hmm. So this is where the movie really gets good.
This is where it does get good. I love these scenes that are coming up next. They're mostly told through montages.
Yeah, so they organize a team to perform the heist. Mm-hmm. So they say, all right, Mia's pregnant. We gotta figure out the future. We're gonna steal all $100 million of Reyes' money, but we need a team. Mm-hmm. So now we get that awesome montage video of calling in the team. This is the Avengers Assemble moment of the movie, and we get Han back from Tokyo Drift, or actually he was in 4.
Yeah, he was in 4. At the very beginning, he was in the first scene.
Yeah, so we get Han back. We get Roman Pierce.
Yep.
Because he's so Han was the chameleon, the guy who could just blend in anywhere. Mm-hmm. Then we need a fast talker who could talk his way out of anything.
That's Tyrese.
So we get Roman Pierce back.
Yep.
Then we need a
safecracker.
A safecracker who apparently is Ludacris's Tej.
Ludacris is the one guy who doesn't make sense because, again, in this movie, what does he do with his money? He starts another shop.
Well, no, I'm not even worried about that. Was it ever... Well, it was a throwaway line that said he had lies before this.
Yeah, like later
so
when
I guess he was a bank robber.
Yeah.
So Tej is the guy. Then we need a weapons expert, which is Giselle, which also came out of left field.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I thought this was her first movie. I thought she just, like, showed up here. But, yeah, right. I guess that's what she was.
Yeah, so she shows up and immediately starts hitting on Dom. And Leo and Santos were the drivers of the successful pickup truck. Actually, no, or Han made the... I forget.
Both of them. Those were both... They got away. It was Dom's, the truck
and
that they...
Han?
Yeah, they're the ones... So,
anyway, so I like those guys too.
Me too. They're funny.
They're always bickering with each other in Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fighting like basically how Ludacris and Tyrese are always kind of fighting with each other too.
Right.
There's like these little mini rivalries within the group.
So their plan was to centralize the cash all in one location because he had 10 safe houses, all with 100 or 10, whatever million.
10 times 10 is 100. So yeah, 10 safe houses with 10 million each.
Yeah, so right. So to centralize it, their idea was, all right, if we hit one and burn it, is it going to put it all in one secure location? Little did they know that that secure location is going to be a police headquarters.
Yep, because they apparently, when they were writing the screenplay for this, they just watched Blue Streak, and they said, hey, the best place for anything to get robbed out of is a police station.
Right.
So
they burn the money gets centralized into the one big safe in the police station. So now it's time to do some reconnaissance work.
Yep.
So we send in, who do we send in
We
first?
sent Tyrese in there to put the camera in there so we can get a look at the safe.
Yeah, so Tyrese goes in with the evidence box, gets put into the evidence room with an RC car in it with a little camera on it. They get a look at the safe, and Tej is like, shit, we're gonna need a practice safe, something to practice on. So somehow they get a brand new safe delivered to them.
Yeah, the exact same model.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty damn fast. Which again, I don't know who they call to get that. Which I think someone brought that up. Like, who do you call to get that? Like, that's gotta go through imports, I assume. I don't understand that, but you know what? Again, it's a movie. So there's a lot more unbelievable stuff in here other than this.
We got blueprints at the public office of the building, so we could plan our whatchamacallit.
Yep, this is where we see the other two guys. They go in there because first of all, they make...
Did we get the handprint first or no?
No, the handprint's last. I think this is when they shoot up the sewage so they can go in through the bathroom, so I guess they can get behind the safe.
I'm not entirely sure.
Because they were knocking on the wall, if you remember.
Yeah, and they drilled a hole in it, and that's what it was. They tapped into the surveillance.
Yes.
So they can look at the cameras.
So the only way they could do this was they had to basically explode the shitter, and poor cop in there, if you saw him, he had to run out of there in the last minute.
So they hacked into the surveillance things, and they were able to look at the cameras back at the base. They mocked up a course, and they only had a small 10-second window to get through this one camera's range. And
this is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, where they're all drifting around. And on the
they
course.
set up a course basically with these cameras that are in there, and the whole goal is not to get picked up by any of these cameras.
Yeah, who can do it fastest?
Yeah, so we get a montage of everybody trying it.
Everyone trying it, and no one can do it.
Gal Gadot got really close. They were all really, and I love that. I just love just showing them all driving the cars. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this scene.
Yeah, that was fun. And then Han sees Giselle driving. He's like, I think I'm in love.
I was thinking that when he was looking at her before he said it too.
Yeah, and Tej says we need a handprint also because there's a palm scanner on this. So again, Giselle.
Right out of a James Bond movie.
Giselle and Han, they're tasked with going to get the handprint. A lot of bodyguards, so Han's like, we're gonna have to figure it out, bring more guys. And she's like, nah, I got this.
Never send a man to do a woman's job.
Yeah, she takes off her little robe. She walks over to him with a bathing suit. They let her in because she's gorgeous. She goes, sits on his lap. She puts his hand on her ass. She comes back and she's got the print because, the bathing suit material will take that print, no problem.
Yeah. And Ludacris even says, so did he cup it or did he grab it? What did happen? Or did he just hit it really hard? Yeah. But he's like, oh, this will work.
And then after that we go back to more guys trying the course.
Yep.
And then Han's like, the only way we're gonna do this is if we have invisible cars. And then Dom's like, I know just where to find them.
And the first time in between us actually seeing it, I was like, what do they do? What exactly did them? Oh, police cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they go to the impound. They go to the police yard and they steal 4 police cars.
We get Tyrese, Han, Brian, and Dom. Are the 4 guys driving these beautiful Chargers in Brazil, and they steal them in the light. No one catches them. They line these up on what looks to be mostly a very popular street. Nobody raises a red flag about that.
Nope. They race them. We get a little race out of that. Back to the base.
Fun race, by the way.
And Brian wins.
But
well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Brian wins, and he thinks he won, and then
the winner got an extra $1 million.
Yeah, Tej and Roman, they were like, he let you win. He lifted at the whatchamacallit. He lifted at the line, and then we see them having a dinner scene. Right? Is that what's next?
Yeah, I think the other guys, because they're making fun of the cooking. They're like, you can't cook. Although, I think they're lying. I don't know how you fuck up ribs, but those ribs look pretty damn good if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so we got the cars. We're back at the base. We're having one last meal because we're about to pull this job tomorrow. And Tej goes to give Brian and Mia a beer, and then she goes, "No, I'm alright." He insists, and Brian's like, "No, she can't." And he's like, "What do you mean she can't?" And then they rub the belly, and then they find out, they drop the bomb, they tell the entire family that Mia's pregnant, and then Roman's like, "That's why he let you in. It was a baby gift."
It was a baby gift.
It was a baby gift.
See, this is where Tyrese is perfect.
Awesome. I love Tyrese.
Yeah,
in
he's
these movies.
perfect in this movie. Like, he just jumps in there with some of the funniest jokes throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then his little rivalry with Ludacris is funny as hell.
Right, yeah. And then later that night, Vince rejoins Dom's team after saving Mia from Reyes' men. Because Mia was out, I guess, getting groceries for that evening. Vince, he was just watching Mia from afar. Because he's always had a thing for Mia. Mm-hmm. So he saves her.
He even said, I'm doing it for Mia.
He saves her when they tried to grab her. They appreciate that. Brian says thank you. And, we realized that Vince he fucked up. He didn't mean it, and they let him rejoin the team.
Yep. And he didn't even put up a fight. He's like, "You're in." He's like, "What?" He was shocked, but
Yeah. So Hobbs and his team, they eventually find them, I think, during this dinner scene, right?
Yep. They come in blasting through.
And then it ends in a brawl between The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Yeah. At the cops, everyone says, "All right, basically, let them settle it." And although we wanted to see this. As fans of these movies, you want to see them throw down. Why else do you get The Rock? Because, The Rock literally does his kip up. If anyone watches wrestling, you know. He does the kip up. He suplexes Vin Diesel through a wall.
Yeah.
Again, these guys are above us, so they're superhuman. They can do a lot more. So this fight scene is fucking awesome. And, if we remember from the first one, Dom, when he gets a wrench in his hand, he kills. But this time, he swings, hits next to him, and lets Hobbs live another day.
Yes.
And basically lets them arrest him.
Yeah, he just gives up. They get arrested. Now they're being transported in Hobbs' armored fucking vehicle.
It's a Ford F-150 underneath, though, right?
It's funny you say that because it has Ford mirrors on it.
It's definitely a Ford. The grill looks like it was made by Ford, but I can't figure out.
It's probably like a 650.
Yeah, okay. It's something clearly it's modified for whatever his job is.
It's probably an old 650 because it had the Ford fucking Super Duty mirrors on it.
Yeah, it was definitely a Ford. I knew that. I just didn't know what the underneath was.
So, yeah, it's like an armored vehicle. Bulletproof. So on their way to the, I guess the attraction point or the airport, wherever the fuck they were going to fly Dom, Mia, and Vince back to, or Dom, Mia, and Brian. Oh, and I think Vince was in the truck
Vince
too.
was because
all four of them.
Unfortunately, we know what happens to Vince here.
Right. So they get ambushed, and RPG takes it out. Doesn't take him that truck. Takes out the other truck with Hobbs' men. Kills all of them. Hobbs is the last one left, and then Elena, which is the cop that was helping Hobbs, frees them all. They grab guns and they take out the rest of the men, and they save Hobbs. Mm-hmm. They get back in the truck, and then they go back to the base.
So, they grab Hobbs, they save his life, but unfortunately, they get back to the safe house, and we find out that Vince has passed away.
Yes.
And because he said...
he gets shot.
He gets shot, and he's telling him about it. He's like, "You gotta meet my son.
Right.
His name's Nico. He's great." And then when they get back to the base, he's like, "I got eyes on Nico now." One thing we didn't bring up, and I wanted to bring this up, we skipped over this scene, but...
We did skip over.
And this absolutely drives me nuts. Vin Diesel is talking to Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker in the scene, and he's like, "Dom, you remember your dad?" And he's like, "I remember everything about my father. I remember him sitting at the table helping Mia with her homework, First thing, he was in the garage, and then he was back there every night for dinner. And it's fucking...
I remember everything about my father."
The way he's talking, I don't know, he did something with his voice in this take. I don't know if it was supposed to be super relaxed. I don't know what it was, but the line delivery is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm surprised they used the take that they did.
Yeah. It's not the best written monologue either.
No, I can live with that. It was just the way he delivered it was a little interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, so he says at this scene, he's like, I got eyes on Nico now.
Yeah, so he's going to take care of Nico.
Yep.
Dom, Vince's son.
They still want to do the plan. They think Han's like, "I got us a flight out of here, I think in 10 minutes. No one will be after us." And he's like, "No, we got to do this."
Yeah.
And at this point, I think they're doing it for more than just the money. I think they want to hit this guy. He's a bad guy for the city. And, you know, that's why Hobbs volunteers to help them this one time. You know what? He saw the good in them. You know, they saved my life. They didn't have to. So he's going to help them out to do this big master plan.
I'll ride with you, Toretto.
Yeah, exactly. I'll ride with you, Toretto.
At least until this is over.
So the next scene is now we get the start of this big plan that we've been hearing about the whole movie. So we get 2 of the Chargers, the 2 cop Chargers drag the safe out, and now we're dragging this big giant safe.
Well, they use Hobbs' truck to blow through the walls.
Yeah.
They go in there, they shoot like the harpoons into the thing, and they use the Charger to pull the safe out of there.
And this scene is awesome. And
Awesome.
We didn't talk about it. This movie, they use mostly practical effects.
Yep.
Unlike in Fast and Furious 4, you'll notice some terrible CGI, Too Fast, Too Furious, but this stuff is done practical. So them dragging this giant safe through Brazil, going those speeds, awesome scenes. Only thing, a lot of people definitely died while this was going on, because that safe is taking out cars.
Well, it doesn't look like. Well, yeah, I guess
On the highway,
some police were killed. I
Yeah.
guess. Some of those head-on collisions.
so
They're dragging the 2 Chargers, piloted by Dom and Brian. They're dragging the safe through the city. Yeah, so they meet up with Han and Roman, who are driving the police cars in police uniforms, and they did the old switcheroo.
Yeah, we don't find this out until after. We still think that this is the actual safe that they have.
Yeah.
So they get chased onto a bridge, and the cops are catching up, and Brian's like, we're not going to make it.
Right.
We're not going to make it. And Vin's like, yeah, we're not going to make it. And he takes the safe with him and lets Brian get away. Mm-hmm. And this is when he takes the safe back the other way.
And he's the wrecking ball.
He takes out every single police car, yeah.
Yeah.
He's hitting these nice Ford Explorers, because Matt and I both had Explorers when we were young, so they had some Ford Explorer police cars. One of these cars, he takes the roof clean off. Again, somebody lost a head in there, 110%.
Probably.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then he gets cornered.
Reyes is badly injured by Dom's assault, and Brian returns and kills ZZ.
Yep.
Who's ZZ?
ZZ's that right-hand man.
Oh, okay.
So basically, yeah, they kill. Brian shows up at the last second because he's not going to leave his family behind. Not again. So he kills ZZ, the right-hand man of our boy here, Reyes, and Reyes is messed up himself.
Yeah, so Hobbs arrives and executes Reyes.
Oh, I love this, by the way.
It's for my team, you son of a bitch.
How he just walks by him and he's like...
Bang, bang, without even
What'd he
look at
say?
him.
He's like, that's for my... I think he says like
That's for my team or something like
yeah,
that.
he just literally keeps walking. He never stops. It just shoots him in the chest.
So
This man lives by his own code. He's like, you're still a bad person, but you've earned 24 hours.
Right, so he lets them go. They hop into the 1 Charger. When Dom and Brian depart, however, Hobbs finds the vault completely empty, and he starts laughing. So he's like, fuck, they got
me. And then this is when we see in like black and white and like basically in flashback that because they had that fake safe, this is the fake safe. They swapped it with the real safe, loaded it up, a truck that Gal Gadot was driving, and loaded up and brought it back to the safe house. Which, again, I don't know how they're still using the same safe house. How nobody has moved in on this at this point.
Well, they have 24 hours.
Oh, did they have 24 hours?
Remember, they have a 24-hour...
oh, you're right. Until something cracks
Reyes' men are all dead, and they're not. And Hobbs ain't looking for them now because they have a 24-hour window.
True. So they're sitting
they're
there
back at the safe house.
with the safe, and this is where we see, this is where Ludacris comes in. He's got to open the safe, and he gets there, and he's like, I don't know how much I'm going to have to caress it, how much I love it. It's still going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
And so he's got the handprint thing, and what do you know? She opens up.
And then we play that fucking awesome song that we all discovered from Fast and Furious.
Oh,
I cranked up the volume real loud when this came on. I was having a great time fucking...
Yeah, this is exciting. They got it. They did it.
And so
then
the money comes and everyone is like, holy shit, look at all this money, we're fucking rich.
They're not raising up the fact that they're going to have to clean this money. So
Yeah, you see Dom put a giant pile on Vince's table,
ex-wife's
his
widow.
baby mama. Yeah, that with saying for you and Nico, love Uncle Dom or something like that. So he takes care of them. They're the richest people in Brazil.
They're leaving.
And then
they're not staying in that shanty
And then
town.
they kind of give us a montage of what everyone's doing with their money.
Yeah, and again, Ludacris opens up another shop because, you know, the one in Miami was just not good enough. And this is when Tyrese shows up with, he's got one of these only 4 cars in the world. And he's like, I had to pay this guy for this amount for it. And then what do you know? He's like, well, why don't we go out for a ride? He's like, you're not taking this piece of shit, right? He's like, no. And then he has a couple girls bring up the same exact car.
Same exact car.
Yep.
Now there's 2 in the Western Hemisphere. Or something like that.
And what else was everybody else doing? We know.
The 2 Spanish guys that are always arguing, they both bet $10 million on red and black and roulette, and it landed on green, so they lost all of their money.
Yep. That scene gave me anxiety also.
Yeah. They lost all of it.
We actually saw a buddy of ours do that in Atlantic City, but not as much money because he doesn't have it. But yeah, he lost. He put it all on one number and on one color and lost, and he was pretty upset.
Yeah,
I was waiting for the deed of the house to come out that day.
I would be. So that's pretty much everybody, right? And then we get Han and Giselle in. I think that's like a new Supra.
They're driving down the road,
they're
making
going
out.
Fast. Yeah, she's sitting in his lap.
Lucky
guy, man.
Yeah,
Smokes, yeah.
Fucking, she fell for Han. Han fell for her. It was just a match made in heaven.
And then it looks like they're going to Berlin. She's like, I thought you wanted to go to Tokyo. And he goes, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Because again, Tokyo Drift is after the next movie.
Right,
so.
yeah.
And we see the last 2 we see are Brian and Dom on the beach. Beautiful beach.
And now Dom is dating this, the blonde cop.
Yep.
Oh, we skipped the scene where he went and got the necklace.
Yeah, we didn't bring up the necklace. She had his necklace, and this is how they both find out. This is their connection.
She's wearing
They're both widows.
She's wearing the evidence.
Yeah.
She was wearing the fucking necklace. But,
she liked that. And again, like I was thinking about it because where we live, there used to be a flea market, and they used to sell those fucking.
Yeah, it's a $20 fucking.
I was like, at least somebody said it because I thought it the whole time. It's just. It's not worth a lot of money.
No. So now, apparently, her and Dom are a thing.
Yeah.
They go to, I guess, where Brian and Mia live.
Yeah, some kind of country with a beautiful beach.
I forget what country they were in, but they're
Was
finally.
it Dominican Republic?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. They're finally free. They got their freedom. They're starting their family, and then Dom shows up with his girlfriend, and they agree to do one more race just to see, and
for nothing, just to see who.
Dom's in what? He's got like some sort of challenger.
It's a new challenger at the time.
And then Brian has the Skyline.
Always has
GTR.
Yep. And we don't find out the winner of this race.
We don't find out the winner. It cuts to
we get a post
credits.
Yep.
Well, it cuts to credits, and you kind of see the race in the credits, like kind of artistically drawn or whatever. But after that, there's a post-credit scene.
Which I didn't know about until this time watching it.
Really? This is the first time seeing it?
First time because, and now it explains a lot, because I remember being frustrated with Fast 6 in the trailer, because I don't like to watch trailers. But I saw the trailer for Fast 6, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're just going to give away that Liddy's back. But they revealed it at the end of Fast 5. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, very interesting. I still don't know how, because they went to the funeral.
Well, I guess they were supposed to believe that wasn't it a fake body? It wasn't her. I don't remember how they did this. I don't like how they explain this in the next movie also, but we'll get to there when we get there.
Yeah, so the credits cut. It's really dark, and we see Hobbs working in the middle of the night. Then we hear some heels, and then we see.
What is he wearing, by the way? Same fucking clothes. This guy doesn't have anything.
Well, it doesn't matter what he's wearing because we get again the smoking hot Eva Mendes.
Yes, we haven't seen her since 2.
And she's not. This is all she did. Is just this one quick little cameo, which is a shame.
She doesn't show up in any other ones, right?
Yeah. So she's given a file by Monica Fuentes concerning the hijack of a military convoy in Berlin, when he discovers a recent photo of Dom's former girlfriend Letty, who had been presumed dead. So she gives him a file, and he's like, "Oh, it has to do with Toretto," and he goes, "No." She says no. He's like, all right, I'm not interested. And she's like, yes, you are. And then he read it, and we see a picture of Letty's face. And then, boom, screen's black.
Yeah.
So they're just revealing that she's still alive somehow, and she's going to come back into play.
Because these are superhero movies just like every other superhero movie, so that means no one's really dead. Even when somebody dies in real life, they're not really dead in the show. In the movie. Very much, this is where the franchise took a hard left turn, and now they're not racing movies anymore. They basically are the now equivalent of a James Bond movie. They're traveling the world, committing crimes, and living the life, essentially. And I don't know if I love it as much as I like the early movies. I like the street racing stuff, but they got to commit somewhere.
I mean, I love these movies. I'm okay with this over-the-top craziness. The car stuff is a bonus. So, you know, they still pepper it in there. They always got cool cars and stuff. That's the heart and soul of these movies. But it's just a fun time.
Yeah, I did enjoy this movie a lot this time.
It's great.
I had a lot of fun.
It's
just a fun movie. Yeah, it was definitely a great time. We hope you guys are enjoying these half-assed movie reviews with us because we're really having fun rewatching it. You know, I'm looking at these through a whole new lens. You know, just trying to have fun with them.
And that's how you have to watch them.
You know, because I mean, there's some bad acting in there. Even The Rock himself, not a great actor. Love the guy. Not a great actor. I'd rather see him, you know, rip somebody apart on the microphone. Just like the old days.
I do agree.
Yep. But
well,
anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, nothing helps this channel out more than by you liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and then while you're down there doing all of that, maybe search for us on podcast services and give us a 5-star rating there. And then, like we like to tell you every time we do these fast reviews, you know, grab yourself a car, go do a little bit of drag racing, and then tell all your friends about us.